Hello and welcome to another part of the series for the Universally Good People Portraits, where I am sculpting a photorealistic portrait of Alex Trebek in ZBRUSH. Let's just dive right in and I'll show you where I'm at. So here I've got my reference view set up, and it's set up such that if I hit a hotkey, it jumps right back to that view, so I can always go back and compare as I'm sculpting along. We worked on lining up the eyes a little bit better last time, but as you can see, the rest of the face still isn't really working out so far, and I'm going to go through and sort of start to touch things up where I just see it not looking correct. Probably starting with the chin, because that's the area that's most noticeable for me right now. I'm still working with symmetry, but I might kind of turn symmetry on and off as needed. So I'm just going to leave this up for now. And I'm just going to bring the mouth into place, put those corners of the mouth where they belong. It's weird, even though his smile is kind of asymmetrical, it looks kind of like it's lining up well. I'm just going to move this portion of the chin lower. Nose in. Move that down. I'm just going to go through and add some line for the lip so you can see where that lives. And that is not looking great from the side. Let's go ahead and move those around. Toggling back and forth and comparing. The corners of his mouth aren't really hidden the right way. Whoops. Just noticing where the shadows are. See, there's a pretty sharp shadow right there. The corners of his mouth go in pretty deep, so I'm going to carve out that a little bit using the damn standard brush. Carve out those areas where there's those shadows. And smooth it. Oh, let me turn on my keyboard. Always forget about that. Okay. Move it a little bit. We kind of got lost in there. Just going through with the damn standard brush and cleaning up that corner, maybe smooth it a little bit more, and then go through. Always kind of go back and forth between smoothing. Nope, that's the wrong shape. Maybe I smoothed it a little bit too much. Yeah, let's go back a little bit. I think I might have taken out something that was working. I love having this undo slider, so it really lets you see kind of the progress. Kind of think that shape was working a little bit well, but it just needs to be moved down. Better. Not quite there yet. Maybe I'll inflate it a little bit, give us some more volume in the upper lip, which will cast more of that shadow. I'm gonna go in really tiny now. Better, but I kind of messed up that shape of the upper lip by pulling it out too much. Let's just push it back in. Smooth it back down. I'm actually going to mask with my little mask lasso, just this bottom portion. Okay, I'm pretty happy with where that line is. This could use a little bit of smoothing though. Okay, we've got that corner in there pretty good. Now I want to go through and clean up the cheeks a little bit more. This cheek isn't really lining up. And I feel like that's contributing to the fact that it doesn't really look like him much yet. And this cheek needs a little bit more volume here. Gonna add this line right there. Whoops. My brushes are always changing on me. It didn't used to happen, but I feel like whatever you store the view in, it kind of remembers what brush you stored it with, and then it tries to switch you back to that brush. And it didn't used to do that in the previous version of ZBRUSH. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, see, it always switches me back to the move brush when I was on the clay brush. Adding this shadow to the cheek. I know his profile isn't looking very good. His chin needs a lot of work. Let's actually go look at the reference of the chin a little bit more. Yeah, it's not looking as it should. Let me fix that. Oh, whoops, I did all that without symmetry on, which I do want symmetry right now for this chin. Just kind of want to see how far past the lips the chin comes to. It comes out a little bit, but I don't want to go overboard. Just kind of put it, at least it's looking a little bit better from the side. And we can bring all of it back a little bit too. I think that'll help. Yeah, that's definitely helping. This shadow right here, I'll turn off symmetry and kind of put that. It's there, that shadow, but it's in the wrong spot. It needs to kind of come in a little bit. Maybe smoothed. And then this shadow right here could be smoothed and polished a little. I'll just polish it to kind of clean it up. Now I want to put this line in. And I will inflate along it a little bit to kind of pinch it together. And we'll actually go through and pinch it too. Like that. It's looking good. We're getting there. Okay, this fold by the nose is not in the right spot, but on the other side it kind of is. So I'm gonna go and bring that up. Yeah, that one looks like it's in the right spot, and now we're gonna move that one into the right spot. And there's also some more volume that's needed right here. That. Looks a little too high now. Bring it down. Yeah, a little bit more down. Kind of feel like this corner of the mouth is a little too far back. That corner. These little areas of detail, the corners of the mouth, the lines on the face, that's where that likeness comes in. Whoopsie. That's how you start seeing, like, okay, it's starting to look like him once you get those little things working. Yeah, that's working a little bit better. There's still a little bit more volume down here a little bit. It's so handy having this hotkey reference. clean up the eyelids a little bit more. They're still not really sitting in the right spot. And the eyes, like they're so hard to do that I feel like the eyes are sort of what moves around the most for me as I do this. I'm gonna go in sharp here. Get rid of that. I think I smoothed that at some point, and that was the wrong call. We want those lids. But we want them to sit just over the eye. And we want this part to come down a lot further. Make sure all that's in the right spot. The shape of the eye is looking good. I'm gonna play with the corner a little bit. Whoopsie. Yeah, the corner is a little bit narrow. Let me go through too and put this line in right here. That's too big of a brush. Whoops, see, it switched back again to that move brush. This one, whoop, move brush again. Come on, ZBrush. I can see too, the bridge of the nose is lower down. There, that's better. And just for fun, oh, I want to clean up the forehead a little bit too. Forehead needs to come out. Our final image is not going to be from the side, so I'm not going to worry too much about that side view. I mean, it should still look like him. And his nose definitely doesn't have this big indent there. Pretty straight nose. I do wish I had a better profile shot, because that one's sort of at an angle where you can actually see his other eye. Ooh, now that I'm looking at this eye, that is, those eye bags are way too prominent. Let's pull those way back. we definitely need to clean up that side. I'm just gonna mask off the areas that's sitting right around his eyeball so that I can just pull these back without messing anything up too much in terms of how it's looking from the front. This eyeball needs to be done, given the same treatment that this one was given. Oops. Pushing it all back. Checking that angle. And then I will mask off the lid so that this whole eye is sort of in the wrong place. It's a little bit higher. Okay, yeah, that's better in terms of like location, but it all needs to be pushed back. And I like kind of flipping to the bottom view so that I can see the arc of everything. I like doing that with the mouth too, going to the bottom view and making sure that there's like a nice bend right there. And then we'll mask that off. And I'm going to just inflate along this so that it pulls down. Move it up a little bit. I feel like this eye is definitely going to look weird if I were to shade it right now, because if I were to put just a mask there, yeah, they're looking a little, that one's like looking really bug-eyed and it needs to be moved into the right spot. Let me just turn up the opacity so I can see what is actually going on with his eyes. Let's just bring both of them up a little bit and see if that fixes anything. Yeah, that helps. I'm actually going to go through and add a little bit of poly paint. Divide it a couple times, and then go into my poly paint. And I will put a toy plastic on the eye. And just with my standard brush, I'm going to add the material channel. Oh, I can't fill it. I'm just going to paint in some eyeballs with my RGB. That'll be okay for now. I know he's looking really weird. We will fix it. Oh, I wanted that to stay toy plastic. Fill material with toy plastic. Toy plastic. Fill. Now hopefully if I turn this back to the skeleton, yeah, his eyes will stay toy plastic. Okay, he's looking weird. And I think his eyes might not be totally symmetrical. I'm going to create auto groups so that I can move them independently. This eye is actually looking okay. It's this one that's got like a freakish expression to it. So it's sitting much further. I think maybe some people's eyes don't point directly out. I'm not sure if this base mesh has eyes. No, they're not pointed directly out. Let me turn off perspective. Oh, yeah, they kind of are. So let's just turn that out a little bit. We can go through and move it up. I'm going to add some more poly paint to make them bigger. Lost my toy plastic again. Fill material. Keep the material like that, please. Oh, ZBRUSH. Okay, he's looking a little weird. Not like the charming Alex. And the eyes definitely need to be posed better. But I kind of don't want to do that right now. I kind of hate working on the eyes sometimes because it's like so easy to get them wrong and to make them look really weird if the eyes are wrong. I think what it might be too is that they both turn on local symmetry. They both need to be angled a little bit. Come on. Towards the camera. And I'm just tapping go to unmasked mesh center to kind of put that in the middle of the middle of the eyeball. Okay, we're getting somewhere. That cheekbone is crazy. He does not have that cheekbone. It's funny, your eyes sort of like go to different parts of the face. When you're stuck on the eyes, sometimes you don't notice, like, oh God, that cheekbone's actually sticking out so much. More volume in here. Let's go back to the reference so that I can see here again how that comes down. And it's different when you smile. When you smile, all of that gets pushed up. We've got the volume in there, but it's kind of lacking shape. But I think going through and adding the wrinkles will also for sure help. Let me just go down and divide a couple more times. Let's see. That's a little too much. Oops, come on. I'm just going to start putting in some light wrinkles. Here, here, here. Here, 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 wrinkle, 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 wrinkle. Ah, that didn't really show up. I think I was pressing too lightly, yeah. Let's try that again. Oh, there's these. These are good. Whoop. Let's turn that up a little bit. And that's going to need to get a lot puffed up. some puffed up under eyes. Here, here, here. There we go. So this, still not really in the right spot, that shadow. Do some more wrinkles. Let me make sure my spotlight projection is off. I feel like it might have turned on because I don't want spotlight projection to be on. Yeah, it's on. Gotta turn that off. Spotlight projection is when you're doing some tracing. And it's like looking through the image to try to project. But we're just using the image as a reference, so we don't actually need that on. These are not at all final wrinkles. These are just landmarks for me to understand where the wrinkles will be. I'm just looking right now at this shadow in there, kind of seeing how that flows. Hopping around different parts of the face. You really do get into a flow state where you just kind of like keep looking and keep making tweaks. I'm going to smooth this area out a lot because it's not looking, it's got there's too much tissue right in here, and it flows a little bit differently in there. See, the shadow shouldn't be there. I'm just going to take out some of the volume, and then I'll put it back with the shadow in the right spot. Oh. Whoops. Hit a button. Hit a button. That made his eyeballs pop out of his head. Expose button. ZBrush is so fun. Okay, that's looking a little bit better, but still not perfect. The eyes are so hard. Eyes are definitely the hardest part. So when I don't feel like doing the eyes anymore, I'm gonna go and do the chin for a little bit. Sometimes you kind of get a little bit blind to the face. It's like, does this actually look like him? I have no idea. I have no idea. Is this looking more like him? Could I even recognize if this is him? Who knows? But I always kind of like go to sleep, wake up the next day, take another look at it, and I'm like, okay, it seems like it could be getting closer. And then there's always the concern of like, oh, I don't really know if my focal length is matching up correctly. Like, see, the ear, that's not in the right position for the ear. Which means this might be a different focal length altogether. I think from the side view, it's just kind of like the back of his head is killing me. Doesn't look human. All right, I think we will call it there for a day. Now that we're starting to kind of put more of the actual shapes in place and look at where the shadows are and everything like that, that's kind of when the likeness is going to start to happen. And I know I started putting in some of the wrinkles, but it's not really until I'm totally solid with the shape of the face and where the shadows hit and the resemblance to Alex Trebek that I'm going to go through and start detailing the actual wrinkles, the actual pores, the actual lines on his lips and the skin texture and everything like that. That'll be a little bit later. Thanks for watching. See you next time.